Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name's Alicia and I'm a mum to 4 beautiful babies, all the way from 10 years old down to newborn. In today's video, I am going to be talking to you about everything that I think you need for breastfeeding. So it's basically a list of all of my breastfeeding essentials. I've gathered them all together and I'm going to be sharing them with you. I have breastfed 4 babies, which is amazing to say out loud. It's really amazing. And I have combi fed 2 of my babies, and then I have exclusively breastfed 2 of my babies as well. So I want to come to you today with all of my experience of breastfeeding 4 babies, with my oldest being 10 years old and my youngest still being newborn. And I'm hoping that I can help you to have everything that you need for your breastfeeding journey to be as successful as possible. So let's get started. I'm going to start with all the things that you will need for baby, and then I'm going to move on for all the things that you will need for mum, and then anything extra or additional at the end. So I'm going to start with something possibly a little bit controversial in the world of breastfeeding, but I think it's a question that is Googled so highly because we end up being the pacifier. So it is a dummy that I have found my breastfed babies will accept. Now, if you have a baby that you are breastfeeding, you will know trying to find a dummy that they will accept is nearly impossible. It's really, really difficult because they obviously prefer the feel of your natural nipple. So I have found a dummy that looks and feels like a nipple that my baby will accept. So this dummy is from the brand NUK or Nook. I found it on Amazon and it looks like this. So it is the shape of a nipple and it has this soft touch to it. So it feels like skin, which is amazing. But I put this on my baby's lip just like this, and I rub it on her lip or sometimes on her nose, just like I would with my nipple. And she will have her rooting reflex open wide and she will latch on to the dummy. So I make sure that I use this following the breastfeeding guideline. I'm not blocking any feeding cues. If she's hungry, I will feed her. I only use this if I know that she's full and she is just wanting a bit of comfort, especially because I have other children. I can't always just be the dummy, and I tend to use this in the night as well. So I really hope this helps you if you are looking for a dummy for your breastfed baby. I have found this works really, really well. On top of that, I also just have a silicone case that I put it in. I spray my sanitizer inside, zip it up, and it is ready and safe for baby whenever she needs it. So next on my list is a Haakaa or a milk collector for the other side. These are particularly helpful for the first few weeks when you are breastfeeding before your milk is established. But you can put this onto the other boob when you are breastfeeding and it will collect your letdown. You just have to have a gentle suction and anything that is coming out will collect in the cup. And it's so easy to collect spare milk and build up a bit of a freezer stash if you're wanting to without having to use a separate pump. It's really quick, really simple, and you can just sterilize it super quickly in boiling water, pour it out into a collection bag. I think that these are amazing and a must have if you are breastfeeding. Okay, next on my list is a vitamin D spray. You will know that your baby needs vitamin D if you are breastfeeding. You need to give them additional vitamin D. However, you are often recommended the droppers. I've spoken about this before on my channel. The droppers are a nightmare. You need to give them so much of it. They hate the taste of it because obviously all they have is breast milk, which is very sweet, and the droppers are very sour. I found this spray. I think it's amazing. You just literally spray it into their mouth and you do 1 spray a day. Amazing stuff. It's really quick and it's also tasteless. So I really recommend this if you are breastfeeding. Next on my list is bags. So I have 2 types of bags that you will need and I think are amazing. You will obviously need milk collection bags. I find that these Medela ones are really good. You can seal them and lay them flat in your freezer if you are planning to pump or build up a freezer stash as well. And then next is these steam bags that I found. They are sterilizing steam bags for your pump parts. Now, I did not think through how you would sterilize pump parts because I use the MAM bottles when I am bottle feeding and they are self-sterilizing in the microwave, and I don't actually have a sterilizer that sits on the side. So I purchased these and they were quite expensive, but actually each bag can be used, I think up to 25 times, up to 20 times each bag can be used. So they're definitely worth the money. You pop all your pump parts inside, put it in the microwave and it's ready to go. Amazing stuff, and I really recommend this if you are planning to breastfeed and pump. Next on my list for baby is a big swaddle blanket, like a muslin blanket. I find that when I breastfeed, my baby's arms are everywhere, especially in that first newborn stage with their startle reflex. It can really distract them from rooting, it can really distract them from staying latched. So I use one of these swaddle muslin blankets, and the reason why is they are breathable. Baby does not overheat in these at all, because obviously from your body heat they are going to become warm. So in these they don't seem to overheat. I swaddle them very quickly, latch them on, and baby seems to stay latched for much quicker when they are swaddled with one of these muslin blankets. So I really recommend buying one of these or a few of these if you are planning to breastfeed. And last on my list for baby is a feeding pillow. I can't show you mine because my baby is currently napping on hers. However, I have another one that I keep upstairs. So this one is actually part of my pregnancy pillow, and I just unzipped it. So I use this one for upstairs in the bed because it's super soft and I can have it behind me, and then when baby wants to feed, I just pop it around my lap. And then I have one of the typical banana shaped ones that she's asleep on now. I find this to be so helpful, especially as baby gets a bit bigger. Your arm can become quite heavy, but also when you are feeding, you are able to feed baby and have both hands free. Whereas if you are breastfeeding, especially if you have larger breasts, you'll be holding the breast with one hand, holding the baby with the other, and it can be slightly awkward, especially if you're just learning to breastfeed. So having a pillow can be really helpful if you want to have your hands free to do some reading or be on your phone, even to use the remote for your telly. So I highly recommend getting a breastfeeding pillow. Next on my list are all of the items that I would recommend for mummies that are planning to breastfeed. So I'm starting strong with my favourite product that I found. I found this with my fourth baby. I wish I'd had it with all of them, and it is this stuff. It's called Jello Net. So 2 of my babies were born tongue-tied, so we saw lactation consultants, and my most recent lactation consultant recommended this to me for sore nipples, and I was thinking, what on earth is Jello Net? I purchased it off of Amazon being a bit skeptical. This stuff heals your nipples in hours. I put this on, my nipples were so sore, so cracked from the tongue tie and the incorrect latch. You snip some of it off, you pop it on in between feeds. Within an hour I was able to feed straight from that breast again. So I went from that real toe curling pain, crying every time that she latched, to using this, and within an hour I was able to feed her again. So this is my holy grail. I still have some in the cupboard if I ever get sore. You pull a piece out and you just snip it off so it lasts for absolutely ages. Pop it on in between feeds, and it's safe for baby to feed from without wiping. So I definitely really recommend Jello Net if you are suffering from any soreness when you are breastfeeding. Next on the list alongside that Jello Net for soreness is some form of nipple balm or nipple cream. I know lots of people use the brand, I think it's called Lansinoh or something like that. I actually purchased this one from Boots. It is a Boots own brand, and I was a bit skeptical of it, thinking maybe it won't be as good because it was cheaper. However, I have found that this is almost identical to the more expensive cream, and it means that I can use much more of it without worrying about the price. It is still as yellow as the cream that is from Boots. It looks like this, and you literally just rub it straight onto your nipple and baby can feed from it without having to wipe it as well. So this has really helped with any soreness in those first couple of weeks, and even now I still have to pop it on now and again. Find this amazing and definitely recommend. Next on my list is going to be some snack boxes. So you will definitely be more hungry when you're breastfeeding, and you may find that it's trickier to go and get a snack because you will have a baby on you, especially if they are in that cluster feeding phase of life. So I have 2 types of snack boxes here because I initially purchased these boxes and you need to twist the tops. And that sounds really simple, except you can't do it with one hand. So instead I went out and purchased these ones, and these ones have a popper top. So you just pop it open and you can do that with one hand. So be really mindful when you are purchasing snack boxes. Can I open it with one hand, or am I going to be looking at this snack box whilst I'm holding my baby and I'm not able to actually eat the snack? Be really mindful when you purchase them. Can you open it with one hand? Next is a claw clip. You will definitely need one of these if you have longer hair, because as baby gets older they will start to grab your hair, and your hair can wrap around their fingers where their hands are so clammy and sweaty, and sometimes I can find that it can make their fingers quite sore. So whenever I feed, I literally grab a claw clip, clip it in, and it just takes 2 seconds. It's super quick and easy, and that way I can make sure that none of my hair is going to end up in baby's fingers. And also you can get quite hot when you are breastfeeding, especially if you are going through postpartum sweat. So I definitely recommend having a few claw clips around your house, by the bed, by the sofa for example, so you can really quickly grab it, pop your hair up and down without any fuss of a hairband. Still for mum, I recommend getting a flask, whatever flask you would like. I actually use these two every single day. So I use this one for my water and I use this one for any hot drinks. Obviously, as a new mum, your hot drinks are going to become cold. You will be seeing the microwave a lot, not just for sterilising bottles, but also for warming up your coffee and tea. So purchase a flask, pop it in the flask. You can carry it around the house with you. It will last hours and it will not be cold when you go to it. So I definitely recommend having a flask. And then of course, having a water cup. I find these ones with the straws really helpful. It doesn't need to be a Stanley. It can just be anything that has one of these straws on the top, because if you have a straw, you are able to drink it with one hand, whereas when you have something like this, you need to use two hands to be able to lift up the top. So if you have something that just has a straw, you're able to drink it really easily and sip it whilst you are feeding baby. Okay, next for mum is bras, so nursing bras or breastfeeding bras, whatever you want to call them. So of course you have your traditional nursing bras that have the clips, so you can unclip and pull down for easy access for baby. However, I actually rarely use these after breastfeeding for children. Instead, I tend to use these elastic, they are almost crop tops, but they definitely have support. So I use these because you can pull them right down for baby, and I find them to be much more comfortable than the classic breastfeeding bras. Even if you buy them without wire, I feel like they can get quite tight because of course your breasts are going to grow and become smaller as you are breastfeeding. So if you have one of these elasticated bras, you don't need to be repurchasing it in different sizes each time your breasts grow. If your baby's having a growth spurt or if they are perhaps feeding less, you can just stick with one until you're finished breastfeeding. On top of the elasticated crop tops, I have found a really helpful use for them, which is if you use scissors and add in these little incisions, you can actually use them as pumping bras. Now, pumping bras are really expensive and sometimes I don't even feel like they're that effective. So I have one of these and I pop in little holes with it, and you can pop your pump through it so that you can be hands-free as you are going about your day, but you don't need to worry about having to hold it and you don't need to worry about it leaking. So that's another use for these very helpful elastic crop tops. Next on the list is something for both mum and baby, and that is a wearable breast pump. So I have an LV and I also have a Medela, but it's currently in the microwave being sterilised. So I'm going to show you the LV, although I spoke about this in a previous video and I don't particularly recommend this exact wearable pump because it is known to leak. Now I know they came out with a new pump and I've not tried that myself, but I have read the reviews and it says that the leaking isn't as bad, but definitely having a wearable pump is very handy, especially if you have other children or you are planning to pump whilst you are out. You can pop it into your bra and it's really discreet. Nobody knows that you're pumping. You pop off the bottom once it's full of milk. It has a cap, just so handy. However, unfortunately this one does leak, so I wouldn't recommend this exact wearable pump, but definitely getting a wearable pump if you are planning on pumping and you are out and about with your family a lot. And last on my list is some vitamins. So you can get a little bit confused with what kind of vitamins you need to be taking when you are breastfeeding. I find that I still take my pregnancy vitamins after I've given birth. The folic acid is not a necessity, however it's very beneficial to your body, and you might find that you have lots of these left over from when you were pregnant, so you can take these whilst you are breastfeeding. And I then just move over to a breastfeeding vitamin that makes sure that I have everything in it that I need. And that is the end of my breastfeeding essentials list. I hope you found it helpful. If you are planning to breastfeed, my biggest piece of advice would just be persevere. Remember, in those really tough moments when you were pregnant and this is what you wanted to do, you will get through the pain. I promise you it does get better. If it's not getting better, try the Jello Net, try the cream. If it's still sore, see a lactation consultant or pop down to a breastfeeding clinic. Baby may have a tongue tie that you're unaware of or a bad latch. Everyone is here to support you and help you, so keep going. I have definitely felt that at all 4 points of breastfeeding with my babies. I have had this moment of, I cannot do this anymore. It is so sore, I am so touched out, and I've persevered through. I've either given a bottle, my husband's given the baby a bottle just so I could have 10 minutes, and I always come back to it, and I'm so glad I have because I've had such a successful breastfeeding journey. So keep going, keep persevering. If you have any questions about any of the products that I mentioned in today's video, please leave them below, as I know it was quite a quick paced video, but I wanted to make sure that I get through them all without you getting bored. So if you do have any questions, leave them below. I'm uploading 3 days a week from now on because I am on maternity leave, so I'm uploading on Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays. So Sunday is going to be our vlog day for our family. So if you liked today's video, feel free to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, it really helps my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.